Hey guys, welcome back. Day, what are we on, 19? Segment 19, I should say. It's nighttime. I decided to put in some more hours here tonight. Got my work done. It's, God, is it Friday or Saturday? It's Friday. Woohoo! Yeah, it's Friday. Okay, so I'm carrying on with the valve adjustment. I want to show you what I'm going to be doing. I'll just show you basically one step of everything I do because it's going to be repeated the same way 4 times. I've got one cover off here, and let me go up close for you. I'm using my iPhone right now because I can put it real close and get the light in there. It's really hard to see, but what we're adjusting are these here. Basically, it's moving that lock nut up or down to adjust where everything lands, and using a feeler gauge in there to gauge how close we're getting. We're turning, and I'll tell you, this scared the crap out of me. I had to verify that this stator nut wasn't coming loose because it turns so freely. Let me tell you what, I can move the engine with my finger. It's that freely of a turning engine. And if you look in this inspection hole right here, I've got it lined up. See that R? No, that's not an R, that's a number. See, I'm glad I'm using my phone because it's really hard to see this in there. But I can see it really clearly with the light. So I'm rotating the engine here, and you can see all the other part numbers actually on the stator, or the magneto actually. Use the right terminology here. So I'm going slowly here. That says Denso probably. Yeah, the manufacturer. Very common electrical part maker. Japan. There's an F and an R, and they designate front and rear. Every 2 revolutions you're going to be at top dead center on one of the cylinders, and there's the R right there. So 180 degrees from that is the F. Now I have to do the checks on the compression stroke, and if you end up not on the compression stroke, you just give it one more full revolution. But right there at that mark, see the little triangle? You line that up with the actual line, and that's lined up. I'm just past it now. If I put the camera right in the center of the hole here, I'm just past it. So I'd have to swing all the way around. I'd have to go around 2 more revolutions if I'm at compression stroke and line that up exactly. And that's where I take my measurement. So right now I've got to pop all the other covers off, and there is an O-ring gasket around each one, and this one was in real good shape. Everything looks squeaky clean, so I don't think I'm in for any kind of mechanical surprises. This should be just a relatively painless check. But man, you can see all the dirt and grime in there. Luckily, all of that is hidden. I'm still gonna clean all this chrome bit up, because you do see all of this, but nothing in there gets seen. I'll have to figure out the best way to clean all this. This is painted aluminum, so I can't polish it, but there is some white crusty oxidation on it. It wipes off, so it should come off with a good normal cleaning. So I'm gonna get started. Okay, now what I'm doing here, I've got it on the compression stroke, and I'm slowly rotating it as I'm watching the camera here because it's darn accurate. It should be within just a few degrees coming into view. There it is. So I'm going to make sure I'm centered there, looking straight through the hole so that arrow is lined up. It's hard to tell because I'm bent over awkwardly. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So that's looking nice and straight into the hole, and I'm going to just until that line gets to the center. Boom. Alright. So now we have rear cylinder on the compression stroke at top dead center. And you can tell it's compression stroke. If you watch your valves, 3 of the revolutions are going to be up. They're not going to move. 1 revolution, they're going to be in the down position. That's open. That's not the compression stroke. When they're open, that means that the exhaust, this is the exhaust side here because that's where the exhaust pipe is. That means that the exhaust gases are being let out. So as that piston's coming up on that stroke, a stroke is every time the piston moves up or down. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, all right? The compression stroke is the opposite of that. So as you see those move, you can count from that point. You'll see them close, and then you'll see the piston come up and down, and as it's coming back up, that's the compression stroke. As they're still closed, they're in the up position, and it's coming up and they're not moving, that's the compression stroke. So that's how we measure each of the valves, is on the compression stroke. And now I need to consult the book and figure out what the spec is and use my new feeler gauges. And what we're going to do is feel underneath the arm, in between that and the part underneath it. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's out of spec. We'll see. Well, minor problem. I found the spec chart finally in the manual. Intake is from 3 to 5 thou and exhaust is 7 to 9. Nothing unusual there. Problem is the new feeler gauge set I got, which are cool and curved just for doing this, starts at 8. So it's in the middle of the range for the exhaust and useless for the intake. So do I go to Walmart and see if they have a set, or do I just bend up the set I got? I think I'm just going to bend up the set I got. I need to make sure they go that small. They should. It's a standard set. And then I'll just have to replace it later because I want to get this done. Did not even think that it would start too big. Never ran into that before, but I've never bought this kind of set before. Oops. So remember in a previous video I said I swear I have ghosts that hide things on me? I could not find my set of feeler gauges, so I had to go to Walmart. They don't even freaking carry them. So I was kind of bummed. I was going to have to postpone this until tomorrow and maybe work on the front end right now or something. But I did one more sweep. They were right in the middle of my desk. Just sitting there. I'm not joking. I overlooked them 5-6 times. Just sitting there, right in front of me. So here we have the sizes we need down to 3. And now we'll be able to check all of them. Oh, and I also found something else. I found a bunch of tools actually while I was looking for these that I didn't know where they were. Remember how I said the spark plug was a weird size? No, it's not a weird size. It's the completely normal size that I've used on virtually every spark plug I've ever changed in the last 10 years. 5/8. Found the socket. The big ass spark plug socket that I pulled out was the one I've never used. I think that's for like lawnmowers or something. Not that one, but it's a huge one. So I'm just losing it, man. Anyway, let's go ahead and get checking these valves. And this is why I wanted to do this. I have no clearance, which means the valves are staying slightly open, which means possible damage if it's run bad enough, and definitely a lack of performance. So I have quite a bit of adjusting to do. I do need to figure out if I have a tool to hold that center little square drive. I think I have a little socket that'll work, but yeah, got a lot of adjusting to do. Since it goes to the closed, or the lower of the spectrum, I'm going to set it to the largest openings. So I'll set the exhaust valves to 9 and the intakes to 5. Fun. This will take a while. Okay, here you can see I've got the feeler gauge in the right spot, and what I've done, I've got the 9 on there, so that's the largest that I want to go to. I backed it off till I could get it in there, and then I tightened it down. So right now it's kind of clamped down on there. I could yank it out, but I can't pull it out. It's got too much resistance. So what I'm going to do is just barely undo that center square post until I've got just some drag on it. I want to be able to feel it coming out, but I want to be able to pull it out without a lot of resistance. And then I'm going to lock down that nut, and then I can do the other side. And then the real fun, doing the freaking intake side. How in the hell are you supposed to get in there? That's insane. I mean, you can't do it from the top, and you can't do it from the other side, because all that's in the way. You have to do it from right here. I may have to go to the store and get a long set of feeler gauges, because you can see I bent mine up, but it's normal size. This is a tip I got from a guy online, because he said he accidentally dropped one of these down there, and the whole thing fits in there if you accidentally drop it. So put a loop of zip tie on the end of it there, and that'll stop that from happening. But I can't reach back there. That's, you know, on the other side of this cylinder head. This one, it's on the close side, but the other one's just on that side. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll have to figure that one out when I get to it. But anyway, I'm gonna get going on these two. It's tough enough doing these, I'll tell you. I got big fat fingers, and this stuff is, I mean, look, there's no room. It's actually easier doing the FJR, believe it or not, because you can take the whole thing apart and you have access to the whole drive chain. That was horrible. Oh my God. I don't know how small your fingers need to be able to do that easily. But mine are not. That took me over 2 hours. Some of these bolts, literally, I'm in here, I can't see it, I can feel the fasteners, and I'm going facet by facet with my fingertips like that to get them to move. Oh. Okay, the worst one was this rear exhaust. It was tight. It had no clearance. The intake on the rear was, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2. Spec is 3 to 5. I set it to 5. Set them all to the upper spec. The front wasn't as bad. The front was only off by 1 or 2 on both. Neither one was completely closed. So I'm still glad I did it. This one definitely was important to do. The other ones probably wouldn't have noticed much. But okay, it's done. You know, I have peace of mind, and the next owner doesn't have to worry about it. You know, good for a long time. Covers are back on. Got that done. I haven't obviously buttoned it back up. What I'm doing right now is putting in the new spark plugs, and I checked the gap on the old ones. It had opened up a bit. They were both at 37. Spec is 31 to 35. Hey now. And the new ones are 34 out of the box. Now here's a tip for putting in spark plugs. Virtually every head you're ever going to work on from this point forward, unless you're working on an old big block, is going to be aluminum. That means it is really friggin' soft metal. If you use a wrench to put in your spark plugs first without starting them by hand, you can cross thread and bugger these threads by breathing on them with a wrench. I mean, they are really soft. It doesn't take much to completely screw up the threads on your head. So what I like to do is I put it in by hand using a spark plug socket, so I've got that rubber holding it in place, and I spin it backwards until I can feel it drop on that first thread. That way I know it's actually in the hole and it's going in straight. And once I feel it catch, you know, like it's trying to come out of that last thread, then I can go in, spin it in as far as I can by hand. It should be completely loose all the way up until the point it seizes on the, or seats on the crush washer. Just gotta get the right angle here. I'm hitting this stupid pear line. And I do not use the wrench until the very end, just to torque it down, to get the crush washer crushed and get the final torque. And I am not even in the thread here. I can't see what I'm doing. I've got lights for the camera, but not for me. There we go. Now I can actually see down the hole. All right, what's your problem, dude? You look good. Completely clean. Something is not right. Do I have the wrong plug? Yes, I do. Son of a bitch. Stupid auto store. What's this box say? Is it the wrong plug in the wrong box, or they just give me the wrong dang box? They gave me the wrong dang box. This is a CR7HSA, completely different plug. You know, people have one freaking job to do. Do it right. That's freaking great. I never thought to even look at that. You know, of course I bought 2. I don't need a 4-pack. Okay, so that's stuck until tomorrow, and I can go back to AutoZone. I don't even know if I have the receipt. I think I'm probably just going to have to suck it up and buy another plug for nothing. Great. Thanks a lot, AutoZone. Let's see. I can't even put this back together yet because that's the first thing that has to go back, and then this, and then that can go over, and that's all stuck. Okay, so I guess now I will get the front wheel in. Oh, and I do want to, before I put it on the bike, test my theory on that aluminum foil shield, make sure that I've got everything oriented right, and I'll test the high and the low, and I want to see what the beam pattern does. And it's nighttime now, so I can do it, and I'll just shine it out there and show you guys what it looks like. Let's do that right now. I need a break from bending over here. Okay, here's what I got. I've got the headlight assembly with the new bulb and the shield, which I think is going to give a nice straight line. That's the only purpose of the shield. What I'm not sure of is when the bulb tilts, I've got it set to tilt up. I don't know if that's the right way for the high beam. The high beam is supposed to be the tilted position, but I don't know if it's supposed to go up or down. So what I'm going to do is shine it across the street, and first I want to see if it has a cutoff, and then I'm going to switch the wires to the high beam, and we'll see if the beam does anything up or down. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't really care if it goes up. Like I said, I don't use my high beams, but what I don't want, well, I just want to see how it comes out. So I've got the battery right down here, and I've got the wiring harness from the second kit, because the one that's original is already wired in the bike. This is from the second kit, so I can just touch it to the battery. So let's give it a shot. And just so you know, the GoPro is tilted to the left a little bit, so the right hand side of the frame is going to be higher a little bit than real life, and I'm just leaning the light assembly against the tripod base, so it's not going to be perfectly level. I do have the shield as level as possible inside the assembly, so on the bike, if the cutoff works, it should be level. Alright, now I'm going to screw on the negative here. Let's see, the white is the low beam. I'll do that first. Get the ground on. Okay, so here goes the low beam. You know what? Let me turn off my porch lights. I can't really see what it's doing. Plus, it's right on the ground. I don't know if this is going to work. Okay, here goes the low beam test again. I'm going to screw it down real quick, if I can, so I have good contact at least. That way I can move the light around a bit. Alright, so it's on. I'm going to carefully pick it up. I don't want to move the wires off the battery terminal. Oh, there it is. It was just aimed up high in the sky. Sweet. So you can clearly see the cutoff beam there. That is from the foil. That works perfectly. That was the only thing I was concerned about, because I didn't want to blind drivers. And now that I'm picking it up, it's only about 4 inches off the ground. My driveway slopes down, so on the ground it wasn't actually hitting the concrete. That's why it didn't look like it was on. But you can see on the road there, I'll adjust the actual assembly, with the adjustment screws to get it in the right spot. So that's that. Now I need to test the high beam, so I'm going to disconnect. I'm going to hold it in the same spot here. So the beam's right about at the road there. I'm going to connect the high beam. Try not to move it. Did it even move? I don't know. I think it might have moved down. Okay, I see some light on the house. Let me go back to the low beam. Okay, so I guess I do have it flipped because the high beam is actually dipping the light pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and flip it around. All I need to do is rotate the shield 180 degrees, and well, how's that going to work with the adapter? Let me think, because they're 3-prong. Oh, the bulb to the adapter has a 180 option. So that's all I have to do is flip the bulb and the shield in the adapter. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, here goes test number 2. Let me rise it up here. Now again, don't pay attention to the aiming right away because I have to actually aim the light when it's in the bike. Concerned about the cutoff. Should be exactly the same. I just redid the shield a little bit. Okay, here goes low beam. Sparks. You can see it. Well, you're not going to see it because the camera is going to auto expose, but it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter. HIDs take a few seconds to come up to intensity. Looks like I didn't quite get it as sharp as the last shield I made. I might work on that a little bit here. Alright, now I'm going to hold it steady. I want to get the beam right about the edge of the road there. I'll try the high beam. Should come up a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. It is noticeably brighter. It's an extra 25 watts of light. This is 55 and the lows here are 35. Alright, cool. Yeah, I'm just going to reshape that shield a little bit more like the first one I made because I like that real sharp cutoff better. Cool. Alright, happy with the way that turned out. Well, I got this side buttoned up. Got this all done. Plug wire on. Intake all reassembled. 2 clamps. I squirted some WD-40 down the throttle body just to make sure they're nice and lubed. Got this air line here and a clamp. 2 electrical connectors, 2 vacuum connectors underneath. Phillips screws on both clamps. And that does that side up. So after I get the plug, it's just popping that in, putting the cover on the other side here. I cleaned these off and it's pitted really bad. It's got a lot of old corrosion. It's eaten right through the chrome. These are metal and it's, I mean, I can't polish it away. It's like little chips into the metal itself. It's right through the chrome finish. So, like I said, it's not a show bike. Kind of looks like pimples. It's kind of ugly, but you can't see much. It's bad up underneath. You know, I think somebody just didn't get in there and dry it when they washed it maybe, or it was left outside a lot of its life, something along those lines. The tank will come to about here and you won't see any of it, so it's all good. I have to remember to tighten this back up. I think I just ran these in kind of loose. Now I think we'll put on the front wheel, do the front brake job, and call it a night because I've been at this now about 3.5 hours. Getting kind of tired. We're going to start by hosing it all down because it is nasty. Okay, starting with the brakes here. Took the old ones off. It was a kind of a funky design. I couldn't figure out how to get the pads off the caliper because they were pinned, and it looked like you had to unbolt this, but there was no way. I mean, this is like a 3mm size bolt head. What I couldn't see because it was coated in brake dust was this little tiny pin. You know how I love pins. And it was just tucked up underneath there, and it goes through the shaft. So you just pull that pin, pull this shaft up, and both pads come out. I don't really understand why they do this kind of design rather than the clip-in like everybody else, but that's what they do. So you've got the pads there, and they still had a lot of meat, but you know, $30 to freshen it back to zero. While we're in here, definitely, I think I'm going to tattoo that on my arm while we're in here. Maybe paint it on the side of the tanks. That'll be the bike's name while we're in here. Okay, so this one with just the one hook goes against the pistons. The other one goes in first. Kind of sorry, wrong angle there. Yeah, just hook it around the outer post, it doesn't move. Swing it over into place. That just sits there, the other pin will drive through here. Like so. And then the other one gets pinned also and clips down on the other side. Just got to pull back the pistons a bit. Okay, there we go. Both pistons spread, plenty of room, new pads in. Let's bolt this back to the bike. Helps to bolt it on the right side. Goes on the inside of the forks. Thought something felt funny. There we go. Chloe's scratching at the door. She says, "It's bedtime. Hurry up and finish, Daddy." Almost done. Hold on, Chloe Bear. Almost ready. Tighten these back up. Real nice and snug on these. Okay. Now, throw out the old pads. These are done. Time for the axle. Okay, so we've got obviously the wheel. We've got the axle. We got Chloe Bear. Let's see, axle comes in from the other side. We've got a spacer. These are just free floating. Nothing we have to do with those. They'll line up themselves. Let's kind of straighten this guy out a little bit here. Alright, let's see, plenty of room between the new brake shoes. Got our new seal on that side. Open bearing. Speedometer sensor goes in there. I'm going to have to tie up this cable a little bit. Put a zip tie because the bracket was attached to it. I'm going to need some grease. Let's see, there's a little nub here. I think that sat right on it, just like that. That looks aligned. Okay, now where does the spacer go? Well, let's see. It does fit inside the seal. This side just has the speedometer drive, but it might go on the outside of the speedometer drive. Let's see if it fits in there. No, it doesn't. Alright, I'm going to cheat and look at the instructions. I have a feeling it goes right here against that seal. Stand by. Okay, the instructions say that it goes on that side with the flange side against the hub, like that. And what I don't remember is if there was a seal here on the original, because this is with the new kit, or if this flanged spacer went up against the bearing. But this seal must go with the bearing because it wouldn't be watertight. But then again, this is all cruddy, so this was not facing outside anywhere. That's definitely not right because it can't go inside. And I put this with the axle, so it definitely goes with the front axle. Alright, let me consult some more. Let me look at the OEM diagrams. Maybe the climber's manual just sucks again. Well, I've been talking to myself out here a while. Got more done than I thought, or at least it took longer than I thought because I didn't think to check the GoPro battery, and it ran out sometime when I was doing the brake job or the front wheel install. I don't know. It's completely filthy, but it's on. Fresh brakes. What I found out was you don't use the new seal with the new bearing kit. The flange spacer, it's all metal. I just greased it up on the end, stuck it in there. It goes where that seal was. So that's all there is. It really confused me because it was really filthy, and I thought it might have been an inside part, but nope, that's exactly where it goes. It just really was filthy. So I've got a ton of cleanup to do. Now that I can really see where all the spots are on the spokes I missed and all the dried up metal polish and all that kind of crap. Oh, I can't wait till I can just give it a bath and get it to go. Yep, got the new brakes on. Still had plenty of meat on the old ones, but you know, while you're in there, freshen up everything, do it to 0 mile. Got a lot of extra grease, you know, gooping out. It's always better to put too much on and wipe it up later than not put enough on. So tomorrow I will run back up to AutoZone. We'll get that plug exchanged, get that in there, get that cover buttoned up, put the pair system back on, and that will take care of that section. And we'll start buttoning up the top, put the bars on, put the headlight on now that I know it looks awesome. Really excited about that. It's painted, you know, it's got the fresh inside, there's no more corrosion. And I looked on the schematics, and that is just supposed to be an open hole back there, so that's why it, you know, rusted. But I shouldn't have that problem again. And I'm not going to purposely hit it with a hose. Rain should never get in there because it's kind of on the underside. So that's from somebody, you know, hosing it this direction, like down, and you just don't do that. No big deal. You know, I don't high pressure wash my bikes anyway. Love the tires. I can't wait to get that blue off though. It's really bugging me. But hey, let's step back. This is the first time it's kind of taking shape. Kind of. It looks like a bike again, at least. The blue really throws me though. If I was seeing the white now, I'd be really, really excited. I mean, I'm excited, but it's getting close. Whew, man, I can't believe how much that valve adjustment sucked. I gotta look up the interval. I didn't even see what the interval was for it. I think it was 16,000 miles, something like that. So, you know, maybe I'll do it once more. If that, I don't know. Depends on how long we keep it, right? So there we go. I am beat. It is like 3:30 in the morning. Time flies when you're having fun, though. So there you go. Let's see. I didn't even think about a question of the day yet. You know what? Let's flip it. I want to hear your questions for me. Just any kind of general motorcycle questions. And I will do my best to answer them. Now remember, I'm not an expert mechanic or anything. So, you know, don't throw me like tech support questions, but, you know, personal questions. Like I've been asking you. I'll do a little Q&A session on this one here. All right, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the site. Share. That's the best thing you can do if you appreciate these videos. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Google+. Share it on Instagram, Twitter, whatever you got. I'll take it. See you next time.